This morning on DC News Now, that radar not quite as active as yesterday. Just a few lingering sprinkles. Those continue to exit off towards our north and east as that storm system that brought all that rain and also some of that ice moves its way farther out. More details. We'll get towards that weekend forecast coming up.
And breaking overnight, more violence on the metro, a stabbing on the Red Line. What we know in the early hours of the investigation.
Plus, do you recognize this truck? Police say the driver sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl and stole her bike. Where this all happened and what police want you to know.
And Elon Musk suspends journalists' Twitter accounts. His rationale for the decision coming up.
The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
All right, good Friday morning to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey James.
Good morning. I'm Tanaya Wright. We do want to get right to meteorologist Jackie Lair with a check on our Friday and weekend forecast. And Jackie, hopefully it's much better than yesterday was.
Yeah, it looks like we're already starting off much better than yesterday was at this point. Seeing some of those clouds out there this morning, the wind is also picking up. So as that storm that moved through yesterday continues to lift out, we're on the backside of the system and that wind is still with us. Just a few lingering sprinkles, like I had mentioned before. Those are continuing to push their way off towards the north and east. So many locations right now are dry, but we're also noticing that wind picking up some gusts in excess of 20 miles per hour down towards Lexington Park. That's some of the stronger gusts, upwards of 30 miles per hour right now. So we're going to notice that wind sticking around through the day today. Right now, though, we are seeing some reduced visibility because of some fog down about a mile in Frederick, as well as Cumberland, Kaiser, and even down towards the Ray, about a mile, 5 miles in Winchester. So a few pockets of low visibility out there this morning. But what can we expect over the next couple of hours? We're looking partly cloudy by about 7 a.m. Temperatures upper 30s, mid to upper 40s by about 11 a.m. We're talking upper 40s for those high temperatures later on today for your Friday afternoon. And we'll see a mix of sun and clouds for your Friday. So drying things out. Still a bit windy through the day today, though. Still a cold wind, though, as we look ahead towards the weekend. The weekend, a little bit colder than the day today. I have more details on those numbers coming up. But Shanika's here with the on-point traffic update. How's it looking out there this morning?
All right, well, thank you, Jackie. We're looking at BW Parkway, heading north and southbound right near 202. You're heading south, so that means they did reopen those lanes. You're looking better. We did have an overturned tractor trailer heading southbound right to the 201 ramp there, and that ramp is pretty sharp. That tractor trailer, I do believe last time I checked, they were trying to recover it. So you should be good to go. Now, these maps are not indicating that the lanes are open. The traffic cameras are showing that they are. So you should be good. Again, do watch for lingering delays in the area. And speaking of those delays, on 50 heading east and westbound, you're also seeing bailout traffic.
All right, Shanika, thank you. Well, more violence on the metro. This time, a man stabbed on a moving train late last night. DC News Now's Lex War is joining us now live from the Farragut North Station. And Lex, I'm sure this is just unsettling news for passengers.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just another case of violence on the metro. That man who was stabbed is recovering in a hospital this morning. He was stabbed on a Red Line train that was headed towards Glenmont. This stop here, Farragut North, was the next stop on that train, and it's where police were able to arrest a woman who they say stabbed the man. Now, he was transported to the hospital with what paramedics thought were possibly life-threatening injuries. The woman is being charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Now, WMATA says that the stabbing was a result of some sort of argument between the two. This is almost deja vu for some passengers and people who are familiar with the recent violence we've had at WMATA, on WMATA stations and on rail platforms. Just last week, 1 week ago in Benning Road, there was an argument between teenagers that ended in a shooting, and 3 people were injured in that shooting. 2 of those people were innocent bystanders in that. We, reached out with Metro Transit Police to look at the overall numbers, and those numbers are showing that violent crime as a whole is up on the Metro system this year. Now, we do need to keep in mind that this is also as ridership is steadily increasing and continues to climb. As far as that man is concerned who was stabbed last night on the train, he is in stable condition and right now expected to make a full recovery. Live at Farragut North, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Thank you, Lex. Well, continuing our winter weather coverage of the storm that passed through the DMV yesterday.
And many people who have been affected are still affected this morning with power outages. West Virginia took the brunt of yesterday's storm, and this morning there are still more than 13,000 customers in the state there without power. Meantime, in Maryland, more than 2,600 customers are in the dark. This according to the state's emergency management agency. And in Virginia, Dominion Energy reporting more than 1,600 customers waiting for power to be restored.
Right now, police in Prince William County are searching for the man they say sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl. DC News Now's Randy Bass is live this morning in Manassas, where this all happened. And Randy, details of this case are just so disturbing.
Yeah, Tanaya, disturbing is one way to describe it. Officers tell us a 12-year-old girl was riding her bike here along Hoadley Road in Manassas yesterday morning when a man driving a pickup truck pulled up next to her and offered her a ride. I want to show you the scene where it all happened here along Hoadley Road on that Manassas Woodbridge line this morning. The girl got into that car here. The man loaded her bike into the back of the truck. Instead of taking her where she needed to go, the man drove her to a nearby parking lot up the street where he sexually assaulted her. Then the girl got out of the car and the man drove off with her bike still in the back. But not before the girl was able to snap this picture. Take a look. This is the suspect's truck. She snapped this picture as he was driving away. Officers say it's an F-350 truck. And it's got some pretty big identifiers. It's a large truck, and it's got what looks like a salt container on the back, plus a plow on the front, along with that two-tone maroon and tan paint. This morning, officers are asking for your help in this case. If you see that truck or the suspect out and about, they're asking you to give them a call. Live in Manassas, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Thank you, Randy. We have new details this morning in the gruesome discovery that police made in Montgomery County in an apartment there. Police have confirmed the identity of the pregnant woman whose body was left decomposing in a unit for a month. They say her name was Denise Middleton. Our Cheyenne Corinne covers Montgomery County and looked into how domestic homicides affect pregnant women at an alarming rate.
Many of you probably remember the Laura Wallen case that we had years ago here. That was this wonderful young woman who was the teacher of the year in Howard County, who was killed by a young man named Tyler Tessier because he found out she was pregnant with her child.
In her honor in 2019, Governor Hogan signed the Laura and Reed's Law that toughens sentences for violent crimes against pregnant women. According to a National Institutes of Health study, in 2020, the risk of homicide was 35% higher for pregnant or postpartum women. The study also shows homicide rates were highest among adolescents and black women, with most incidents involving firearms.
Homicide of a pregnant woman is not typically a first and only time domestic violence incident. It's probably a culmination of years of abuse.
The Maryland Network Against Domestic Violence says this is why it's so important that healthcare providers screen pregnant women and provide a private space to ask questions about intimate partner violence.
People who may choose not to use the criminal justice system might be more receptive to a healthcare provider.
All right, your time right now is 6:07. Saying in Montgomery County this morning, police arrested 4 men in connection to a murder in Piney Branch that also left 2 others injured. Now, the victim in this case was identified by police as 19-year-old Williams Cruz. The first 2 men were charged with first and second-degree murder and assault charges. The other 2 men were charged with accessory to murder.
And sad news this morning coming out of New Jersey. A Maryland National Guard airman died at an indoor ski park at the American Dream Mall. The 175th wing of the Maryland National Guard leaders released a statement on 24-year-old Peter Matthews passing, saying, quote, "Peter was genuinely an amazing person and his smile lit up the room. If you had a chance to talk to him, you knew instantly he had a remarkable future and was destined for greatness." Developing now, the Senate passed a short-term funding bill delaying a potential government shutdown to the end of next week. If it had not been passed, that shutdown would have started today at midnight. The bill freezes funding levels through next Friday to buy time for continued negotiations. Just 9 House Republicans voted to approve the bill, with some hoping to delay the final decision to the new year when the GOP gains control of the House.
And yesterday, D.C. launched a groundbreaking new downtown housing project. The project will convert the old Vanguard building in the Golden Triangle neighborhood into the L Apartments with 163 new homes. Now, it'll also feature 8,000 square feet of retail, restaurants, along with a rooftop pool and other amenities. The goal is to create a mixed-use space where people can live, they can work and play in the downtown area.
A great opportunity to change the mix of uses in the downtown, in the Golden Triangle. So we're not only having beautiful commercial buildings and workers, but we will have more DC residents calling this neighborhood and these buildings home.
The project is expected to be done by spring of 2024. And the Africa Leaders Summit wrapped up yesterday, but not before causing a traffic nightmare for cars and pedestrians. The three-day event impacted some local businesses outside the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in D.C. It even closed down roadways while streets and sidewalks were wrapped with black metal fencing. And business owners say the fencing also kept people from visiting local establishments.
It feels like Armageddon. It's like you're in some kind of war zone. And it was very disheartening for us to witness.
Now, the Secret Service and other agencies handled security in order to keep dignitaries safe. While the summit ended yesterday, traffic impacts are expected to last through tomorrow.
Drivers in West Virginia are setting the standard. Governor Jim Justice announcing that the seatbelt usage in the state is at an all-time high. According to the governor's highway safety program, seatbelt usage in 2022 came in at more than 92%. That exceeds the national average of 90%. Seatbelt usage has increased yearly, and this has all paid off. According to the Federal Highway Administration's latest report in 2020, the number of serious injuries while driving has decreased every year since 2014.